As I mentioned, I've got Ann Gibson here. She is a member of UT, employee of UT, and she'll be fielding questions throughout our program that we can answer towards the end. I've got myself. Alan is with us as well. He's our program coordinator.
Hi, everybody.
Sounds like we've got other people joining in as well. What we would intend to do is to go over the program highlights. And before we do that, I'm going to spend some time just talking about the CFP certification in general, the benefits to it, the pros and cons, that sort of thing. And then I'll bring Alan up to discuss the particulars of UT's program. I actually work full-time as a financial planner. I'm here at Austin Asset Management. We do fee-only financial planning. And in our program at UT, we do get a lot of career switchers, and I myself am one. I graduated actually back in '95 with electrical engineering degree, which a lot of our students find of interest because we do get engineers in our program. And so I had finished the degree there, and it was while in that program that I took a class, Personal Family Finance, and that's how I got interested in financial planning and realized that I was more passionate about that than engineering. Worked for about a year as an MIS specialist, and then after that went full-time into an investment arena, working in a full-service brokerage firm, wealth management firm for about 10 years, and then after that started working at Austin Asset. So been in the profession for about 14 and a half years, and go through here and give you an idea of what we intend to cover. As I mentioned, I'll cover just the scope of the planning profession and how you can differentiate yourself as a certified financial planner practitioner, and then Alan will go over specifics of what the University of Texas has to offer, and then we'll both be online to be able to answer questions. If you do have questions, you're more than welcome to just send them in the GoToMeeting. There's a box. You can just send them at will to Ann, and she'll organize and get those questions ready for us as well. The need, as it stands out there, a lot of people have certain perceptions, rationalized or unrationalized, about retirement planning, and so I included this stat in here. This is from the Employee Benefits Research Institute. They do this every year, and just get a sense of how people are feeling in regards to retirement. And the information, I'm always blown away at the stats that they give out, because a lot of people assume or feel that they're okay for retirement simply because they're expected to reach a certain age, whether it's 66 or 67, and they're going to live off Social Security. And so the max on Social Security, you're looking at about 25 or 30,000. Well, in addition to that, people typically have 25,000 or somewhere around there saved, and they expect that the money that they get from Social Security, as well as what they have built up, will last them for the rest of their natural lives. And we're finding that that's, of course, when you run the numbers, it's not the case. A lot of people are in trouble as far as how much they've saved for retirement. There's less of an emphasis on, when people go to work, having pensions, and of course there's plenty of doubts on what the state of Social Security is going to be in the future. And work with clients who are retired now, and I always tell them, you know, when they have concerns about Social Security, that really it doesn't impact them, it impacts me. I'm in my 30s, about to be in my 40s, and so if it's going to change for anybody, it's going to change for me, and that simply means it'll probably be a reduced benefit or a further out retirement age, full retirement age. I think for me right now at 67, it may get pushed back to 70. So that's one of the big needs for or demand for financial planners, is to help people who are planning for retirement think about these things. Long ago, it used to be that you would work for a company for 30 years, and then they would be able to pay you a pension or benefits and take care of health care until Medicare kicks in. Well, as you know, those days are behind us. There's not as many stout pension plans in existence today, and so a lot of people have to rely on what they have themselves to start saving money, not only putting towards Social Security, but saving money in a 401k or IRA or Roth IRA. So that's one of the things that we help as financial planners, clients decide what to do and how to adequately plan. The other thing, and I'm not going to hit every point on the slide, but did want to cover some of these points. One of them is this idea of information overload. All the information that's out there that we as financial planners can utilize in helping our clients, they can find out on their own. There's internet access to sites like Yahoo Finance, or there's Smart Money, or there's a lot of financial journalists that are blogging or writing about financial planning, and then they have access to magazines such as Money magazine, Kiplinger's. They can also listen to CNBC Squawk Box all day if they desire. So there's definitely not a lack of information. The problem is that it's too much, and clients can get overwhelmed, especially with a lot of the information out there that's conflicting. You can find articles out there that talk about why an IRA is better than a Roth, or you'll see another article that talks about why a Roth is better than an IRA. Well, it's our job as financial planners to help go through that information and make it pertinent and specific to a client and help them better understand which is right for them. When we look at the markets in general, you know, there's people who advocate using actively managed mutual funds. There's others who advocate using passively managed or index mutual funds. And so it's our job as financial planners to help clients decipher through that information and realize what's best for them and what's going to give them the highest probability of reaching their goals. And ultimately, it's about helping them have clarity so they're not stressed about what's going on in their financial affairs. This uncertainty we're definitely dealing with now and throughout. There's business cycles, not only with businesses, but even in the financial planning realm, where we're dealing with more uncertainty at times than others. Back in the late 90s, you know, everybody was pretty confident about their retirement portfolios and how they were doing. It just seemed that every industry or sector was doing well, no matter where they invested. Then, of course, you had early 2000, 2001, 2002, where we had the internet bubble bursting. We've had 2008, where pretty much every asset class that people were invested in didn't perform as well. Late 2009, early 2010, things looked a little bit better, and now we're back to where clients are a little bit fidgety again, just because of what's going on in the Middle East or what's going on in Japan, how all of those different political or environmental events affect their portfolios. You know, you're constantly hearing things about the national debt. So our job as financial planners is to help clients decipher through all this news and say, okay, what's, you know, put everything in perspective and talk about how this affects them. And that's where the disconnect comes between clients. They see the news, but they don't really know how it impacts them or changes their financial affairs. To actually get the certification, that's not a requirement to be a financial advisor. There's many ways or avenues into the financial advising or planning profession, and having a certified financial planner designation is one of the ways to do it. It just so happens that this way is going to be probably the most beneficial to your career. It instantly demonstrates your credibility, just like a CPA does with, the accounting or tax profession. If someone is looking for someone to give tax advice or to do tax planning for them, they're usually looking for a CPA, someone who has that designation behind their name. In the same way, financial planning is no different. A lot of financial journalists will write that they're looking for, or when you're looking for a financial advisor, look for someone who is a certified financial planner. And so you'll see that a lot from journalists, financial journalists. It's definitely a way to differentiate yourself, and I'll get into some of the demographics of the certification here in a little bit, and I'll show you how you can definitely make an impact for those who are pursuing this as a profession or career. The actual certification, obviously a disclaimer, is the award or the certification is not given by University of Texas. University of Texas just steps in and provides the educational component that's required to get the certification. But the actual designation is awarded by the CFP board, and as such, there's requirements that I'll go through here in a little bit. Some of the benefits you'll see listed here. It's definitely, and I've seen this in practice, I got my certification back in 2003, so prior to that and now, it's definitely, in my career, communicated that instant credibility with clients, and without a doubt, it's enhanced my career and professional development, and I'll show you how it does that. And it's definitely helped me to be able to help clients in a number of different situations. Just as I mentioned before, how do you decide whether you do an IRA or a Roth IRA, or how should I organize my portfolio, or will you review my insurance coverage and tell me how much life insurance I should need or should have for my family. It's helped out in me being able to adequately address those questions that clients have. For those, if you're looking at the financial aspect of it, here are some stats. In UT's program, we do get people who are already in the profession and they're wanting to elevate their profession. And so here are some numbers as far as if you've been within the profession for 1 to 5 years, you should see about a 40% increase in earnings on average. And then longer than that, 6 to 10 years, you should see about a 60% increase in earnings. This is several years old survey, but the numbers shouldn't have changed as drastically. I mentioned that I would talk about the demographics. There's currently 60,000 certified financial planner professionals in the U.S. And to give you some perspective on that, the number of financial advisors, or those who hold themselves out to be planners in the U.S., that number is around 700,000. So you can see that a little bit less than 10% are actually certified financial planners. And then the demographics there, 76% male, 24% female. That definitely shows that there's a lot of opportunity for females in the profession. The 95% of the certified financial planners do have a college degree. That number is only going to go up because since 2007, it's now a requirement that you have to have an undergraduate degree in order to actually get the certification. Now I'll just walk you through the actual process. I mentioned that UT provides the education component, and I'm going to talk about that component of the certification. But then after the education follows an exam, and somewhere in between, either prior to the exam, during the exam, or after, you've got to meet an experience requirement and then sign an ethics statement. And these listed here, these are the 7 courses that are required for any program to be accredited with the CFP board. Now, when you register for a program, whether it's UT or sign up online at a program, all the different programs that are out there, you're usually going to see 6 courses. And the reason that you'll see 6 courses is that a lot of people will combine. They'll have employee benefits with either insurance planning or retirement planning. And at UT, they combine, we combine insurance, or excuse me, we combine employee benefits with retirement planning. And so there will be 6 required courses. Now, starting in 2012, the CFP board is going to require 1 additional course, and that is financial planning development capstone course. And that's where you're taking all the 6 or 7 disciplines and combining them into actually writing and developing a financial plan for a client. So that is one change that you'll see within a year. But as of right now, it's just these 7 courses. On the educational components, I've listed here that the CFP board allows you to actually, if you've got any of these designations that are listed, to what they call challenge the exam. And that just basically says, look, I've gotten the background, I know a lot about the financial industry, and so I feel comfortable being able to go and take the CFP board exams test. And so they allow that, and those who are in that situation, what they'll usually do is, for instance, if you're a CPA may not go and take income tax planning, but they may go and take a refresher course like insurance planning because they may not be comfortable with insurance, and they may take investments. They may not be comfortable with investments. But retirement planning, if you think about it, retirement planning is a tax course because it's all about the rules and regulations associated with different retirement accounts. So they may not take that. They may not take income tax planning, and they may feel comfortable with estate planning if they've done a lot of Form 706s or Form 709s, which are estate planning forms, or even the Form 1041. So they may feel comfortable with that, but just pick up on classes where they're not as comfortable. You can definitely do that. And you can also go to the CFP board and say, look, you know, my undergraduate degree or my graduate studies, I've gotten a lot in terms of investments, and I've covered everything that y'all would require in investments. So they can also review that and say, okay, look, as far as the educational component, you don't need to take investments. We see that you've got the background. So now you're just required to take the other 5. And they're more than welcome to do that. The second component of the 4 E's that I mentioned is the actual CFP board examination. And this is actually done over 2 days. The Friday afternoon you'll have a 4-hour exam, and then the Saturday morning you'll have a 3-hour exam, and then you'll take an hour break, then you'll go for another 3 hours in the afternoon. So 10 hours over 2 days, and you know, Alan and I will be the first to tell you that it's not a exam to be taken lightly. As you can see with the pass rate, it's 285 questions, of which you'll have a Friday afternoon session. There's going to be a case study that you'll answer questions from, along with some multiple choice questions, and you also have a case study in the Saturday morning session and the Saturday afternoon session. That's probably about half, or not half, it's actually about a third of the exam. It's offered 3 times a year. Actually, this weekend is the March exam for the CFP board, and those are the 3 times, and they don't have it in Austin yet, but close by, San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. I actually took mine at San Antonio when I took it several years ago, and they usually have it at a college location. For instance, at San Antonio, I took it at a school called the Incarnate Word. There's a link here. We get a lot of questions regarding experience, and we've put a link here in the slides for the CFP board's websites where they'll have frequently asked questions. But the bottom line is it's the profession. They treat it like a apprenticeship, and so before they'll even award you the designation, they'll require that you have 3 years of industry experience. And what they're equating for 3 years of industry experience is each year 2,000 hours. And so they give you 15 years time frame to get 2,000 times 3 or 6,000 hours. And as with any profession, they don't want your information that you learn on the CFP exam or were tested on to get stale. So they give you this window to get this exam experience or this financial planning experience. So it starts 10 years prior to you taking the exam and then 5 years afterwards. So within that 15-year period, you've got to get those 6,000 hours, and that can be in different forms such as supervising people who are doing the work of financial planners or directly supporting people who are doing financial planning or even teaching teaching anybody in the area of financial planning. And one of the things that Alan will get to, or he'll talk about, is the topic list, and that's what our educational component is centered around. I'm going to pull up, and this, if you haven't seen it, we can get this out to you, but the educational components that UT provides, it's all based around their topic list. And so this is an 8-page document. I'm going to minimize it. You're not going to be able to read the print, but you'll at least see the section. So here you'll see the fundamentals or the general principles of financial planning. If I flip over, there's a section coverage for insurance planning and risk management, and these are all the topics that are addressed within that particular class. And here's that separate section for employee benefits that we combine with retirement, and you'll see that here as well. And then investments, you flip over, income tax planning, and then here's retirement planning, and last but definitely not least, estate planning. And if I blow this up, you'll actually see the exam content coverage for each individual section. And I bring this up as I talk about experience because when the CFP board is looking at experience requirements, they're looking at whether you do anything that relates to this list. For instance, if you're helping people with budgeting or debt management, then that's considered work experience. Or if you're working in the mortgage financing and helping people with personal loans for their mortgage, then that's considered applicable experience. So they're looking at anything that touches on this list to meet that requirement. The other thing, or the last E of the 4 E's, is the ethics. Now, when you take fundamentals, which is one of the classes that we're offering this session, I'm going to pull this up. One of the things that you study in the fundamentals class is this, where is it? The CFP Board Code of Ethics and Professional Responsibility. And so you're going to study as well as be tested on the CFP exam and, of course, in class, the Code of Ethics and Professional Standards and Responsibility. And so upon completion of the courses, completion of the actual exam, and then ultimately, pulling up the slides here, ultimately you'll sign an ethics statement that you're going to adhere to that Code of Ethics and Professional Standards and Responsibility. They'll also ask you to disclose any past or pending litigation, and for more information, we've also included a website there. now going to give it to Alan, and he'll go over UT's, the highlights of our program and what UT has to offer.
Okay, Kenneth, I've lost my screen. Can you continue with using the clicker and advance the screen for me?
Absolutely.
You got that, Ann?
Yes.
Yep. No problem.
Okay. So our goals and objective is to prepare the students to deliver competent and professional, ethical financial planning. We're not really there as a test prep course. What we're trying to do is educate you and pass this body of knowledge that's needed to thoroughly understand the concepts and principles. But we do cover all the topics that are covered in the CFP Board's certification program. So we do cover those areas as well. Next. So the Kenneth went over the core topic list, and that's included in our curriculum. We base the fundamentals class on that list. We base the retirement planning on the topics that are listed under that heading. We have a traditional college textbook curriculum. It may in fact be a textbook with 15 to 20 chapters. So if you're looking at an 11-week program or 11-week course with a final at the end, you're looking at covering a sizable amount of material in 10 weeks of class. So it is a graduate level course. It's very fast paced, so you should be familiar with that when you make your decisions. Our program is based on real world application. All of our instructors are currently or have in the past been very active in their fields. So it's not so much as just imparting what's in the textbook, but they take the technical material and actually show you how it applies. They can bring up examples of things that have happened to them and their experience, and so it's a real-world application of that material. Kenneth went over our courses. As he mentioned, there are 6 main disciplines. 5, if you consider that the fundamentals is in fact a overview of the other 5. You have with the fundamentals of financial planning, that course covers the ethical process, plus it also goes into a little bit of insurance, the tax planning, the investments, estate planning, and the retirement as well. And then the final course, which is our capstone, the strategies and case studies. We've had this program, this course in our program since its inception. The CFP board has understood that it's important that individuals getting the certification know how to work on financial plans, and so they have instituted, as Kenneth mentioned, this into the requirements for anyone studying for the 2012 exams. So that's always been in our program, but with our course, you must pass the first 6 courses before taking the capstone. But to give you a little bit about our strategies and case studies, what it is a hypothetical case study is studied every week. We bring in different instructors to cover the case with you, so you get an idea of how different instructors approach different cases. We'll have the estate planning instructor come in one night and do a case, and we'll also have the retirement instructor come in for a night. So it gives you a well-rounded view of how financial plans are put together. So each course meets on a one night a week. It's either a Tuesday or Thursday night from 6 to 9 p.m. We operate on a quarterly system, which we break into 11-week classes. As I mentioned, it's 10 weeks of class. A midterm, that's take-home, and then a final on the 11th night. It requires approximately 6 hours of outside study each week, and that depends on your familiarity with the material, your study habits, and so it may be a little bit more than that, but you should allocate 6 hours. So that's 6 hours outside of class and 3 hours in the class. We have a convenient location at the Thompson Conference Center located on the northeast edge of the campus. There's parking available, and it's geared for working professionals. Our enrollment is limited. We don't have the auditorium-sized classrooms. We have smaller classrooms. We have 2 of them allocated to the program here at the Thompson. Our maximum enrollment will be somewhere around 30 students per class, so you're going to have more interaction with the instructor and other people in the classroom as well. So how long does it take to make it through the program? Well, most of my students take less than 24 months, and then they usually take 1 course each quarter, which is 1 class a week. That is the way most of the people do it. You can get aggressive with it and really accelerate the program, taking 2 classes each quarter, which you come in on a Tuesday night and take a class, and then take a different class on the Thursday night. And you can get through the 7 courses and earn the UT certificate in 12 months if you get aggressive with it. To understand that better, we talked about it takes 9 hours to allocate to a class each week. If you're doubling up and taking 2 classes, you're looking at 18 to 20 hours per week, and that's a sizable load for this graduate level course. So just take that into consideration if you're considering doing something like that. I've had people do it successfully, and it certainly can be done, but you just have to let your family network and your friends know that you're going to need their support in getting through that. The entrance requirements are a bachelor's degree in any field. It doesn't really matter if it's business or finance or whatever, and a proficiency in collegiate level math. Now, the bachelor's requirement is it's the product of the CFP. You have to have an undergraduate degree to use the marks. For our specific program, we like to do that as well, but if there is anyone that wants to come into our program that doesn't have that yet, you can in fact get into our program. We can take a look at your past experience and see if you're ready to take graduate level courses is our main concern. And in fact, you can sit for the CFP exam without having a bachelor's degree. It's just the fact that you can never use the marks. You can do all the requirements, but if you don't get the undergraduate degree, you can never use the marks. And the proficiency for math is simply you're dealing with numbers here, and so anyone who doesn't have a good understanding of numbers and the mathematical formulas are not going to be happy in the profession. We have a very flexible program. We try to center it around our students and make it easy for them because that's really what we're doing, is trying to get them through a certificate program. Their success would become our success. And so we allow transfer of credit from other programs into ours. We require that a minimum of 4 of the classes, of the 7 classes, be taken at UT to qualify for the UT certificate. The final class of the capstone course must be taken at UT. But we take in transfer requests all the time from students that life comes up, they start to travel, their boss sends them on out of town for a while, or things happen in your family, illnesses have come up. So we can understand that you can't keep on our path the entire time, so maybe an online program was best for you for a while. So we allow that transfer request as long as they meet a certain standard, and that is that they have a B or better in the class, and of course it has to be from a registered provider with a CFP board. So for the graduation, it's fairly simple. You complete the 7 required courses with a 70% or better rate, and then we have an attendance requirement, which would be attend 9 of the 11 class sessions for each course. This slide goes over what the approximate cost would entail. You can see that the tuition is $645 per course, multiplied out by the 7 courses. And then the books, that's an average of 135. Some of them are more than that. The capstone course, you only need the text, the Kaplan case study book, which is $70, so it's much less than that as well. So that's an estimation of the cost of the program, approximate cost. Then you'll see that there's a board application of $100, and then the cost of the board exam, giving your total cost down below. The small writing at the bottom is an additional cost that is strictly optional to the individual, but is something worth considering. Virtually everyone who sits for the exam is wanting to make the most out of the 2 years that they've invested in it and the money that they've paid for tuition. So with going up against this exam with a mid-50s pass rate, they want to increase their chances all they can. And so almost everyone participates in an exam review course. And these are put on by national companies, several days. They go through and they review the technical material that you've gone through. They work problems, and then they also coach you on how to take an exam. You know, what common problems people encounter and how to avoid that in studying for your exam. So there are different price ranges. So that is another cost that you should consider in looking at the total cost. You'll also need a financial calculator. It's recommended. There are several available. I've listed 5 here that you might consider. These prices off of Office Depot. But the workhorse of the industry is the Hewlett-Packard HP 12C. Something like 80% of the advisors use it, or people in the professional field use it. So it's the standard, but the other HP 17B2, 10B2, and the TI, those are all perfectly fine instruments as well. So the calculator is your choice. So how is our program different? And you can go up to the CFP board website, and we know that there's a vast variety of, I think there's over 300 registered providers of the CFP educational providers. So what makes our program different is that we focus on the practical and how to apply the knowledge that you gained in the classroom to real-life experiences. Our instructors are all experienced practitioners, and we also have had the capstone course actually doing financial plans at the end of the program since our inception in 2002. Then you're looking at the commitment to education and teaching excellence, which is a hallmark of the UT brand. And one thing that's a traditional in-class program can offer that's lacking in other methods is the networking opportunities that you have. Foremost, perhaps, would be the instructors. These are all people, professionals involved in the industry, in the local community, who can become mentors and resources once you pass through and have graduated and have gone into practice yourself. And then also the time that you spend in the classroom. You're with people of similar interest, people that are in the business from all walks of life, or other people that are trying to get into the business. So it's a way of networking and meeting people with similar interests. We've had students meet in the class and decide to form a partnership after they graduated. I had a CPA and a financial advisor team up, and now they have a business and they're practicing here in Austin. So the networking opportunities are, I think, are very important. I'd like to go over just a few of our instructors. What we do is have a evaluation we give to the students for them to evaluate the class and the instructor at the midterm and then at the final, so that we can find out how we're doing with the class. And these are some excerpts, some comments actually pulled off of those evaluations. It shows some of our instructors, and this is Pat Arnold. She's one of my instructors that actually, she's not actually currently practicing in the field, but she's had over 30 years experience, and she's actually currently right now she's a lecturer at the McCombs Business School, but she does her insurance, and she does a great job of actually making a difficult program easy. The knowledge of materials being presented was great, and used examples to illustrate the lessons. That's a pretty common comment I get through my instructors, that that they use examples to illustrate the lessons. Next, we have Brad Weevil. He's a state attorney with Weevil Law Firm. He's been with the program for over 5 years. He's an excellent teacher. He's the best instructor of the CFP series. You'd be surprised how many comments I have for different instructors telling me the same thing, that they are the best in the series as well. But Brad co-instructs with his colleague, Doug Paul. They work together at the Weevil Law Firm, and sometimes when people do something in tandem, it doesn't mesh very well, but they've done an excellent job. They've been doing it together for 3 or 4 years now, and they're a very good team. Next, we have Todd Centurino. He's actually a CFA. He works for the teachers' retirement system here in Austin, but he's extremely knowledgeable, great presentation material, strong teacher, and he has real-world experience. He teaches our investments course, so he's very qualified for that and excellent at bringing the material. So I talked about our program flexibility. We have an a la carte program. You pay as you go. If you can come in at any point if life catches up with you and you can't continue with the traditional classroom course, you can set out, you can do other options, transfer the credit in. We also have the convenient nighttime schedule for working professionals. You work your job during the day, you study at night, and it makes it very convenient. And we also have the multiple course offerings that allow you to move through the program at your convenience. The CFP certification examination, we mentioned that the pass rate was in the national pass rate is in the mid-50s. For the years 2007, 8, and 2009, the pass rate was 55% for the national rate. The CFP board gives us a report of our students, and during that 3-year period, we enjoyed a 69% pass rate. It's something for you to consider if you are decide to go into financial planning and to get the CFP designation. You're going to want to look at a program that can give you the best opportunity to get through that, and I think that you'll be very satisfied with our program. Here I've listed the spring and summer quarter. We're at the end of March, actually. It says April on our slide, but at the end of March, we're going to be starting our spring quarter. We'll be offering fundamentals, retirement, and estate. Someone just now entering the program would probably consider the fundamentals. That's not a requirement, but by and large, most of my people springboard into the program with fundamentals. But that's not to say that I've had CPAs start with tax planning before. I've had other people start with insurance because that was the industry that they were in. So, but if you were starting the spring quarter, fundamentals would be the most likely. And then moving into the summer quarter, which would start in June, run through September, we're offering investments, tax, and then the capstones course. So your opportunity there would be either investments or tax. The choice would be yours on that. Most people would probably go into investments, I think. All right, here we show the Financial Planning Certificate Program. This is the certificate of completion that you get when you finish the UT program. And your success will be reported to the CFP board, and they will note that in your application, and you'll be ready to set for the exam. Finally, the last slide, we have contact information. To register, you can go to our website and register using the shopping cart there, or you can phone our registrar at the number provided and give your payment information to them, and they can process it that way. There's my contact information if you have any other questions. And that's it for the slide presentation. I would be glad to answer questions at this point.
Hi, Alan. This is Anne. I do have a couple of questions that I've been sent. One of them is, do you help with job placement?
We don't have a formalized job placement center. I know that people will realize that University of Texas does, but that's for their enrolled students. We have, well, what we can do, and we have done for our past students, is we have a very good reputation with the local companies in the high visibility. Kenneth actually is the past president of the Financial Planning Association of Austin. So that's a local nonprofit organization promoting financial planners. So they do offer a career day once a year. It was just in last February, last month. But they invite local companies to set up booths, and they collect resumes, and they interview people for jobs that they have open. And so I have placed students in that. February, I heard from one student that he'd got 4 interviews, 2 offers, and now he took one of those offers. He's currently working in the field. So we don't actually have a formal process, but we can help you with that. There are times that companies will call me or email me, and they're looking for interns, which would be a great way for someone to get experience. So I have those opportunities come up as well.
Excellent. I have a couple more questions that just came in. What are the kind of jobs that are available to a CFP?
Kenneth, can you handle that one?
Yes, I definitely can. It depends on what type of firm that you go to. When I pulled up that topic list, that shows you the breadth of the financial planning profession. So if you're specifically looking for comprehensive financial planning, then a way to get a foot in the door is, as Alan mentioned, an internship at a financial planning firm, or even starting off as what they call a paraplanner, and that's someone that directly supports financial planners. Remember when I showed you the slide on work experience, there's the line item for direct support. Well, that's specifically what a paraplanner can do. So those are some opportunities that are out there, and those are salaried positions. Now you can also go to get into an insurance firm and help people in selling or getting them to acquire life insurance or health insurance or what have you. You can also work at a tax planning firm if you're more leaning towards doing taxes or like that sort of work. So there's a number of ways, but it really comes down to what you actually want to do. And one of the things that I do provide, or that we provide in the capstone, the strategies and case studies class, is a practice management session where we cover all the different avenues to get a job in the profession.
Okay, excellent. What else do I have? I have two more questions. One is, how do I gain the required experience?
Oh, I can help with that. You know, as I mentioned, sometimes I get requests from firms asking for interns. I've placed people in that. That would be for someone perhaps that's a career changer, and that's that they haven't worked in the industry before. They're trying to break into it. So the window that, as Kenneth mentioned, is the window to get your experience is 10 years prior to the exam and 5 years after the exam. So if you were to start the program, say this year, and it takes you 2 years to get through the program, you've got a two-year period that you can be working on it prior to setting for the exam, and then 5 years after that. So you have a 7-year window at this point if you've never done anything in the past that qualifies. So you can get your experience by volunteering for a nonprofit organization that helps people. Like we have a local organization here called Communities Foundation. Their clients come in, they need help, and our students have volunteered time to be financial coaches, advising them on their clients on how to bring their credit rating in line and help them manage their bills. They've Community Foundation also asked for some tax preparers so that there are some free services that their clients can have in that area. And the foundation will document your time and provide you with the documentation you need to present to the board to show you have experience. Some of my students have also did part-time work for some of the tax preparation companies. If you know that way they get paid for their experience as well. So that's another avenue that you can gain the experience needed.
And one thing I will add to that also is with the Financial Planning Association, they have what's called a residency program. And think of this as the strategies and case studies class, but done in a weekend or over 4 or 5 days. If you attend those types of sessions, and they do it at different colleges around the nation, those provide 6 months of work experience. The CFP Board recognizes for that week, and because of how much content is covered and what's done in those, I think it's up to like 6 months that it'll cover or take the place of work experience.
Wonderful. So it sounds like you can get, there's a lot of different options to getting experience before, during, and after. I just have one more question for you, Alan. When is the last day that people can register for this?
We don't really have a drop-dead deadline. In fact, you could register the day of the class if that's what you're wanting to do. But I recommend to people that they, I think we put it down a date of March the 18th for this coming session. That would be tomorrow or Friday. You could do it the first part of next week, but what's important is that you get registered, you get that processed, then you get the information for the classroom information and the textbook information, because you'll need to procure the textbooks and then read the material for the first class assignment to get caught up. Of course, if you wait and put that off till later, it's going to be harder to get ready to prepare for the first class. So we would say March 18th for this coming session, but if you wanted to come in later, we could certainly do that as well. More flexibility on our program.
Okay, well, that's all the questions that I have. If you guys have anything else to add, I think that's all we have.
No, that's it for me. But I would ask anyone who had any further questions, if anything comes up later on, you have my contact information, that give me a call. And if there's something you don't understand or something that you're trying to work around, it's probably something that we've dealt with before, and we'd be glad to help you with it. So I appreciate everyone for showing up today.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Bye.
you. See everybody later. Bye-bye.